Welcome back, my friends, to the Morning Mindset. It's time for you and for me to get our minds aligned with the truth of God. Now, stop for a moment and think about that phrase. I say it all the time, and so it can start to lose its meaning. But let's pause for a moment and remember what we're doing. We're aligning our minds, our way of thinking, with God's way of thinking, God's mind about things. That's what's going to lead us to living in a way that's successful in His eyes. So let's dig into the scriptures to do that. Today we're looking at 2 Peter chapter number 1. And Peter has been telling us about an experience he had when Jesus was alive and walking on the earth. Not to say Jesus is not alive. Of course He's alive. He rose from the dead. But He's no longer on earth in a physical form like He was in Peter's day. And Peter is telling about this experience he had on a mountaintop where Jesus was transfigured into His glorious state as God. And in verse number 18 of chapter 1, 2 Peter, Peter writes this. He says, "And we have the prophetic word more fully confirmed, to which you will do well to pay attention, as to a lamp shining in a dark place, until the day dawns and the morning star rises in your heart." Now, that's pretty poetic language for a fisherman, isn't it? I always get the feeling that Peter had this sensitive side to him that we're not as aware of when we read the Gospels. But here, these words come out. This literary man seems to come out, and he says things in such a clearly beautiful way. But let's look at the content that he's talking about. He says, we have the prophetic word more fully confirmed. Now, he's referring back to Old Testament prophecies about Jesus Christ Himself, about the Messiah. You see, they didn't know His name back in the prophetic days when Isaiah was speaking about the Messiah. They called Him Emmanuel for the sake of giving Him a name, which means God with us, which indeed Jesus was. But they didn't call Him by His actual name because God had not revealed that to them. And so Peter is talking about all those prophecies that were spoken about the Messiah. And he's saying to his readers, Jesus is that Messiah. Jesus is the one who fulfilled those prophecies. And he's pointing to his own experience as an apostle of Jesus who followed Jesus around for 3.5 years and watched the miracles with his own eyes and experienced them in many ways. Remember, Peter's the one who walked on the water with Jesus. He's the one who pulled in the big catch of fish because Jesus told him to cast his net on the other side of the boat. He's the one who saw his own mother-in-law healed from a very severe sickness by Jesus. You see, Peter had the proof. He had the experience himself. And he's saying, we have the prophetic word more fully confirmed than most people, I think is what he's meaning, because of all the experiences that we had. And he's saying, you will do well to pay attention to this. And can I just say that to you, my friends? You and I will do well to pay attention to what Peter is saying here because he's a first-hand witness. He's one who was there when it all happened. And he's telling us what he saw with his own eyes, what he touched with his own hands, and perhaps more importantly, what he felt in his own soul as he interacted with Jesus. I mean, have you been around a person that when you're around them, something inside of you just stirs? You're inspired in new ways. You're encouraged in a bolder sense. You feel this sense of life being given to you because of this person's outlook or this person's experience and demeanor. Well, multiply that by 10,000, and we might even be close to what it was like to walk in the presence of Jesus Himself. And that's what Peter's pointing back to. And he's saying we would do well to pay attention to this as we would to a lamp shining in a dark place. I mean, think about that. In a dark place, you're looking around trying to find your way, and then a lamp is turned on, and you're able to see. You're able to navigate through the darkness without bumping your knee or your foot or your head. You see, Peter is saying, pay attention to what I'm telling you here because it will guide you through the dark places in life. And my friend, whatever darkness you're navigating right now, Jesus is there. Pay attention to what Jesus is saying. Pay attention to what Peter's telling us and lean into Jesus. Seek Him for your guidance, and He will not steer you wrong.